So what we've got is this lid actually has too much cork on it. Inside the bottom of the end of the PDF in the section marked conclusion, probably only probably a quarter to half inch is all that's needed of cork on the lid and on the side. If you'll go and take the lid off, and this right here is only about a fourth of an inch of cork, but it does help, and it is needed some insulation. Of course, you could put aluminum on the exterior and make it would not be a fire hazard as long as no oxygen gets to it. It would not be a fuel source, but cork or anything else would work, and then of that nature. But I really like cork. It's easy to use and it's very inexpensive. And then what we've got in here is, again, our fabricator could only fabricate out of iron and only has the capability to fabricate out of iron. And she did a really good job, but suggest it would be probably aluminum for the top. And what we had here is I actually added an aluminum ring that attaches, and all this in the PDF, to the copper tube. The copper tube wicks the heat all the way from the bottom of the fry pan through the lip and straight up, each of them. And so you would not need the iron and then the aluminum. You just have the aluminum. You just have the aluminum pan. You'd have that acting as a heat sink on the aluminum pan to heat up the aluminum top part, and then a inside aluminum ring that also acts as a heat sink. And between those, they get plenty hot enough to create the oven in the top. Now, normally with a typical oven at home, your heating element is on the top of the oven. But with this, what we did is we went ahead and made it to where it's on the sides, but it works just fine. And another thing, and I'm using 8 of them, copper, also to save money in manufacturing. Aluminum could be used. Might want to make them instead of copper or aluminum tubing, maybe make aluminum rods and just wick the heat straight up. Works much more efficient than air. Air is actually an insulator to heat, and so that's why we're using the metal to wick the heat from the bottom straight on up. And I've got in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, if you use aluminum, it's not quite as efficient as copper, so you could use more of them. But again, very inexpensive to build. One other thing in the conclusion is I'd probably drop the grate down to where it's right above the bottom, and probably shrink the whole thing down by about an inch, inch and a half. It'll make the oven part that much more efficient for heating. It'll be less space, but again, plenty of space if you're cooking small pizza, you're cooking 3 or 4 pieces of chicken. If you're cooking 4 biscuits, 6 biscuits, something like that, still plenty of space to be able to do that. So anyway, this concludes the video. Thank you very much.